Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to have you here today. We're about to dive into an interesting question. Does GRC require coding? On this first slide, we see the title, Does GRC require coding? And the subtitle, Exploring how technology and coding skills intersect with governance, risk, and compliance in today's dynamic landscape. Over the next few slides, we'll explore how technology impacts GRC, whether coding skills are essential, and what that means for professionals in the field. So, let's get started and discover what's really happening at the intersection of GRC and technology. Let's take a moment to understand what GRC really is. GRC stands for governance, risk, and compliance, and it's essentially an integrated approach that helps organizations manage three critical business functions more effectively. First, it aligns your business objectives with the various regulatory requirements you need to meet. This means ensuring that your strategic goals are in sync with the rules and standards you must follow. Next, it involves managing enterprise-wide risks in a strategic way, so you're not just reacting to issues as they come up, but proactively identifying and mitigating potential threats. Lastly, GRC helps organizations ensure compliance, not only with external regulations, but also internal policies, so everything runs smoothly and within legal boundaries. What's really important to note here is that GRC isn't just about individual functions working in isolation. It's about creating a unified framework where different teams and departments collaborate. This cross-functional teamwork builds organizational resilience and helps maintain operational integrity. When done right, GRC becomes a powerful tool that supports the overall health and sustainability of the organization, which ties directly into our broader theme of building a resilient and compliant business environment. Now, let's take a closer look at the core components of governance, risk, and compliance, or GRC for short. First, governance is all about setting the strategic direction and providing oversight that guides how an organization makes decisions. This involves establishing clear board-level policies and procedures, defining specific roles and responsibilities across the organization, and creating accountability frameworks for leadership. Essentially, governance ensures everyone knows their part, and that there's a structured way to steer the organization toward its goals. Moving on to risk management, this is about taking a systematic approach to identifying and mitigating potential threats. It involves using various risk identification methodologies to spot vulnerabilities early on, assessment matrices and scoring systems to prioritize risks, and developing treatment plans and controls to address them effectively. The goal here is to proactively manage risks before they become bigger issues. Finally, compliance is about making sure the organization adheres to all relevant laws, regulations, and standards. This means staying on top of regulatory updates through tracking and monitoring, implementing comprehensive training programs to keep everyone informed, and collecting audit evidence to demonstrate compliance. When these components work together seamlessly, they create a robust framework that not only protects the organization, but also supports its strategic growth and integrity. So, when we think about traditional GRC roles, most of the core responsibilities are actually centered around non-technical skills. For example, a big part of the job involves developing policies and making sure they're well documented. It's about creating frameworks for assessing risks and then monitoring compliance to ensure everything stays on track. Communication is also key, keeping stakeholders informed and engaged throughout the process. Now, in terms of the primary skills needed, regulatory knowledge is essential, understanding the rules and interpreting how they apply. Process design and documentation are also fundamental, because GRC professionals need to build clear procedures and record them properly. Analytical thinking and problem-solving come into play when assessing risks or identifying compliance gaps. And of course, strong communication skills are critical for collaborating across different departments and ensuring everyone understands their responsibilities. What's important here is that these activities, policy development, risk assessment, compliance monitoring, don't typically require coding skills. They're more about expertise in regulations, processes, and effective communication. So, while technology is shaping GRC in many ways, the foundational roles still rely heavily on skills that are non-technical in nature. Now, let's talk about the role of technology and automation in governance, risk, and compliance, or GRC. While you don't necessarily need to code, leveraging technology has become essential for implementing GRC effectively. For example, automated evidence collection can cut down manual effort by up to 70%, which not only saves time, but also reduces the risk of human error. Instead of relying on one-off assessments, continuous monitoring allows organizations to keep an eye on risks in real time, making their GRC efforts much more proactive. Centralized dashboards are another key tool. They give us real-time visibility into risk levels across the organization, so we can make informed decisions quickly. Workflow automation helps ensure that compliance processes are consistent and repeatable, reducing variability and increasing reliability. And finally, data integration ties everything together, enabling comprehensive reporting that provides a full picture of our risk landscape. Overall, these technological tools are transforming GRC from a reactive process into a more dynamic and strategic function, which really ties into our overall goal of building resilient, compliant organizations. Now, let's take a look at some examples of GRC tools and platforms that are out there. First, we have enterprise GRC platforms. These are comprehensive solutions designed to handle multiple GRC functions all in one place. Think of platforms like ServiceNow GRC, IBM OpenPages, and MetricStream. What's great about these is that they typically feature point-and-click interfaces, which means you don't need to be a technical expert to navigate or set them up. They're user-friendly and help streamline complex governance, risk, and compliance processes. Next, we have specialized compliance tools. These are purpose-built for specific needs, which makes them very effective for targeted tasks. For example, Hyperproof focuses on evidence management, helping organizations organize and maintain compliance evidence efficiently. SecuraFrame is geared toward security compliance, making it easier to meet specific security standards. Sprinto offers automated compliance features, reducing manual effort and speeding up the process. These tools usually come with user-friendly dashboards, pre-built controls, and templates, which make compliance easier to manage even if you're not a compliance expert. Finally, let's talk about cloud provider GRC solutions. Since many organizations are moving to the cloud, these native tools are designed to integrate seamlessly with cloud environments. For instance, AWS Audit Manager, Google Cloud Risk Manager, and Azure Compliance Manager are all tailored to work directly within their respective cloud platforms. They simplify compliance by providing integrated tools that connect directly to cloud resources, making it easier to monitor, assess, and maintain compliance without juggling multiple separate systems. When we look at all these options, the key takeaway is that there are a variety of tools tailored to different needs. Whether you're managing enterprise-wide GRC, focusing on specific compliance areas, or leveraging cloud-native solutions. Selecting the right platform depends on your organization's size, complexity, and specific compliance requirements. But the common goal is to make GRC easier, more integrated, and more accessible. Now, let's talk about some specific ways coding skills can really make a difference in GRC. First up is custom integrations. This involves developing APIs to connect different systems, which allows for seamless data flows between your GRC tools and other business applications. It's all about breaking down silos and ensuring that information moves smoothly across platforms. Next, we have automated reporting. With scripting, you can extract data, generate tailored reports, and even create visualizations that go beyond what standard platforms offer. This not only saves time, but also provides more insightful and customized views of your compliance and risk data. Finally, technical controls are crucial. Coding enables us to implement security controls more effectively, develop monitoring scripts to keep an eye on system activities, and automate testing processes to verify technical compliance. These capabilities help us stay proactive and ensure that our technical environment remains secure and compliant. Overall, these coding skills empower us to create more integrated, efficient, and secure GRC processes, ultimately supporting a more agile and responsive governance framework. As we wrap up, I want to emphasize that core GRC functions don't typically require coding skills. Most GRC professionals succeed by leveraging their business acumen, understanding regulations, and refining processes. These are the skills that truly drive value. While technical literacy is becoming more important, it's not about becoming a coder. Instead, understanding how systems operate, how data flows, and grasping basic security concepts can significantly boost your effectiveness in GRC. That said, coding is a specialized skill within GRC. It can set you apart when it comes to advanced automation, creating custom integrations, or managing technical risks. But it's important to remember that success in GRC is really about blending people, processes, and technology. Coding is just one piece of the puzzle. Ultimately, the most effective GRC efforts come from a well-rounded approach that combines these elements seamlessly.